Okay, so we're at our machine now. It's a little noisy. I have my zipper foot on my machine. It might look different than yours, but it's a standard zipper foot. Compared to a regular flat sewing foot, this part of the foot is gone and there's a little notch for the needle to come down. This just allows you to sew as close to the piping or the zipper edge as you desire. So let's place this. And I'm going to kind of really push it up close because I want to sew on this side of that black line of stitching so it doesn't show on the other side. So I'm going to do a little back stitch. Caught my thread underneath there, but that's okay. So I'm coming right up to my pin. Take the pin out, back tack. Now all you need to do is lift the zipper foot, so you can see this well enough, and I'm just going to pull it. Not even going to take the thread, cut the thread or anything, just pull it. Now, that's a time-saving technique for you. Remove my pin, another back tack. Again, trying to sew on the left side of that black thread line, and then I'll stop right there. Let's see, did I get that? There we go. Cut that thread, this thread, and this thread. Yeah, there we go. So here we got our opening. And I'm not going to move the camera, but I'm going to go over to my pressing table and I'm just going to press this part down to make it easier to sew that zipper in when I come back. So I have pressed that side opposite the piping. Let's see how well you can see that. This is the side I pressed. Actually, you could have done that before we even sew these together. I just forgot. So anyway, so this is, you can kind of see, this is how the zipper is going to look. And your zipper should ideally be hidden in this seam right here. I hope you can see that well. And I'll be stitching, you'll see stitching about 1/4 inch from this little folded edge. I'm using black for demonstration purposes, but normally you would use matching thread and it would be very unnoticeable. So here we have our good sides together. So some people say, well, what side do you sew to the zipper first? Sorry, let me fix that. I like to attach the zipper to this side first because this side tends to stretch, and this is stretch denim, so really want to be careful with this one. And then as we turn it around, I'll sew this one second. This one is more stabilized and I can stretch it as needed to fit this side. So, and I'm just taking the zipper and putting it underneath. This might look a little funky, but I'm going to take about 1 inch of the tail of this right hand of the zipper. You can see it's right side up. I'm going to push it up and just line up this folded edge with the teeth. So now you can see why I prefer to use zippers by the yard or to use an oversized zipper. So you can manipulate that in there to your own preference. So the zipper now, the zipper foot is coming down. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's fold this side back. So the tail of the zipper is up about 1 inch there, and the needle is going to come down about 1/4 inch from this folded edge. And I'm just going to slide this in here like this, and we'll get going. Needle down there, and As I said, this might look a little funky. So very carefully, let's take a few back stitches. So you can see now, let me find something to point with. That's where the seam began, right there, where I attached the piping edge to the plain edge. I've back tacked, about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to sew the rest of the way down, being very careful not to overly stretch this. You can see the teeth are lining up with the edge there, and I can push the zipper pull back. As I said before, normally you wouldn't see this line as clearly, but I'm using black thread so you can see that. And as we approach the other end, again you can see where this has been attached. And I've got a lot of zipper left over here. So I can just feel free to cut that exactly where I want it to be. I've gone again about 1/4 of an inch over, and I'm just going to back tack and pull that out. And turn it around, and we're going to sew down the side that has piping. And I'm going to finish, as I said, I'm going to trim my edges in advance. My edges, threads, excuse me. Okay, so now we're coming back. And I want to lower the needle into the ditch. That's this is called the ditch, where there has been a seam. If I can stay within that ditch with my stitches, it will just virtually disappear. And this is the front of the pillow anyway. This stitch line, of course, is going to show, and but the front is going to hopefully look just flawless. So we need to back tack on this, going about 1/4 of an inch, taking my time. So if you just stretch that open a little bit and sew right there in that ditch. As you go, I know you can't see this in the screen, but I'm tugging on it back here just a little bit to make sure that the tighter edge, the edge with the piping, which doesn't have as much give because it's been stabilized with the amount of sewing here. Maybe I think you'll see it now. I've been pulling just to make sure that they're at even tension. Now before I get too far, I need to stop and pull this zipper pull back. Get it out of the way so we can continue sewing. And this thing is coming out beautifully. And again, trimming